Have you ever gone out in your garden and you see a yellow flash come zipping through and darting up and down and back and forth, and like a flash it's in and then it's out and gone? You might have seen a sulphur butterfly. They're fast little erratic flyers, and there's several varieties of sulphur, but the one we're interested in today is the cloudless sulphur. And why is that? Because they migrate to Florida every year. And I don't think anyone ever really talks about it. But you know what? They need our help too. These are photos of sulphur butterflies and caterpillars that I have taken over the years in my butterfly garden. And they go all the way up to Canada. And in the fall, they migrate from Canada on down the eastern United States to Florida, where they hang out here over the winter. And here's what you can do to help them on their migration. For those of you north of Florida, you're going to need to have some good nectar plants out, and I'll show you what they like. And for those of you central Florida and south, they might be hanging out with you all winter, depending on how cold it gets, and you'll need to have some nectar plants and host plants ready for them. For nectar plants, they love red. So red pentas are an ideal plant to have on hand for them. And they also love scarlet sage. In my garden, I also find that they love porterweed. You'll also want to have some host plants available for them. Host plants are the plants that they lay their eggs on, and that is the food that the caterpillars need. Caterpillars can't just eat anything. Specific caterpillars have specific plants they have to feed on. Right here is a gorgeous Privet Senna. This is one of the hosts I have. I have 3 or 4 of these in my garden, and they make beautiful like small trees. And this one is getting ready to bloom. I mean, look at this gorgeous plant. It's full, it's frilly. I have several in my garden. I have one right outside my garden room door. Look how huge this one is. It's right between 2 porterweeds, because the color of the porterweed flowers is such a pretty combination with the Privet Senna flowers. Here's one blooming right now. And here they are together. Aren't they beautiful? And then I have another big one. You can see how full it is. That is also a Privet Senna. And there's a Gulf fritillaria up there on the porterweed. Everybody loves the porterweed. I was just at Lowe's and they had a bunch of porterweed. It's not native, but it's a butterfly magnet, just kind of like the red pentas aren't native. But unfortunately, you can't find the heirloom red pentas at Lowe's, but they did have the porterweed. I also have the partridge pea. This is also a host for them. It's really a pretty plant. It's frilly, it's light, it's airy. There you can see the beautiful flowers. So this is also a host for the cloudless sulphur. And then the last host plant that I have in my garden is the Bahama Senna. It's right back here. Right beside my Privet Senna is the Bahama Senna. And you can see the leaves are a little bit more round and oval, where the Privet Senna are more elongated. And the flowers on the Bahama Senna are similar shape and design, but they're a richer, more golden yellow. So pretty. These are beautiful also with the porterweed. These are beautiful with red pentas. They're beautiful next to the pale yellow Privet Senna. It's a gorgeous addition to a butterfly garden, and it is super happy back here getting filtered sunlight. I mean, it is thriving. A lot of plants I find say, you know, full sunlight, but this space back here does not get full sunlight, and both my Privet Senna and Bahama Senna are thriving. But the other location where we were just moments ago on the other end of my garden, that section gets full sunlight, and those Privet Sennas are thriving as well. So they can handle both. Over here in my pentas garden that gets a lot of sun, I have another Bahama Senna back in the corner. It's currently in the shade, but as the sun comes up more, it will get more sun. And it is also doing just fine. And it is right here. It's not blooming yet, but it will be. Hello, Mr. Ringo. What you up to today in the garden? You don't want to be on camera? You being shy? Hello, sweet boy. Now we're back in my work area, and I just want to show you I have some Privet Sennas that I grew from seed, and they do well in pots. If you're concerned about your temperatures and wanting to, you know, move them into a greenhouse or something over the winter, or just wanting to be able to move them around in your garden or to control how big they get, you can put them in pots and they will be just fine. I also have a partridge pea over here that is in a pot, and it is doing fine as well. And there's a porterweed here also. And pentas do well in pots too. You could do a whole little potted garden for the sulfurs. As a matter of fact, you could get a giant pot and put in a partridge pea, a porterweed, and a red pentas. What a beautiful flower combination that would be. Or you could do a Privet Senna and a porterweed and a red pentas. That's a fabulous idea. I have an empty pot. Okay, to wrap it up, Cloudless sulphur butterfly migrates in the fall all through the United States and Canada to Florida and Texas. They go to Texas too, those of you in Texas. If you're in Texas or Florida where it stays warmer, then get the host plants, Privet Senna, Bahama Senna, Partridge pea, there are others, and get some nectar plants, those of you everywhere else and in Florida and Texas. They love red, like red pentas, scarlet sage. They also love cardinal flower. And of course, they love porterweed. I've had them on zinnias also. To help keep their population thriving. Their population has dropped also. We don't hear about them very much as migratory butterflies like we do the monarchs, but they're just as important, just as essential, and it's really easy to get some of these plants out in your garden to help them make their way in their migrating travel. One other fun fact is they're low flyers. The monarchs, they ride the thermals, they fly, they're high flyers, so you might not really see them in their migratory travel, but the sulfurs don't usually go higher than 3 meters from the surface of the ground, so you'll see them fluttering through on their way. Oh my goodness, y'all, there is one right now, and it just landed on my partridge pea. It's like it knew. Let me see, is that, yeah, it looks like a cloudless sulphur. Oh my goodness, what great timing. Thank you, butterfly. That is a cloudless sulphur laying eggs on my partridge pea. I love it. Oh, and those of you in Central Florida, the Nectar usually carries these host plants, so give them a call, check and see if they have them. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Tap the like button, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you in the next one.